Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to adjust this. And if my thumbnail, my edited picture didn't come up, I don't know. Um, I'll do it after I get done with that, guys. But this is a complete dark web explanation of crime and cybersecurity, all that good stuff. Guys, there's a difference between the dark web and the dark web, dark surface. I think that's what they call it. I'm not sure. But take your pen and paper out, guys. This is a plethora of information that you will need to know. And I'm not, this is for educational purposes only. Please do not go in and go into the dark web messing around. I can tell you, I've been down in the dark web for reasons. And this was like probably 10 years ago. It's not a place, you know, for you. Usually criminals and underground ways of being used this for their purposes. But anyway, I'm not going to chitter chat. We're going to get started because it's pretty long. But I really want you guys to take a look at this. This is going to blow your freaking mind, okay? True story, guys. True story. Hold on one moment, guys. Let me just. I'm trying to fix. Sorry. Can you see me? Hi, guys. Hi. I'm in the mirror back there. Okay, guys, so let's get started, okay? Subscribe. Please do subscribe as you come in. And again, this is for educational purposes only. Please take note if you're late for class, do not disrupt. Come back when class is over, and then you could have a place to review the video. All in a clown lifestyle. Just kidding, guys. I like to have fun. Here goes.
Your whole life. You know Google, you know YouTube, you know social media, online banking,
Do
streaming
we?
services. You think you know the internet. But here's
You
the thing.
think
What
you
you
the
use every single
internet?
day, Google, Instagram, Amazon, all of it, represents less than 4% of the entire internet. Less than 4%. The rest is hidden. And deep inside that hidden world, far beyond what most people ever dare to imagine, there exists a layer of the internet that has terrified governments, empowered criminals, built billion-dollar illegal economies, and at the same time, protected journalists, saved lives, and given shelter to some of the bravest voices on the planet. It's called the dark web. And no, it's not what Hollywood told you it is. It's not a single shadowy website where masked hackers type furiously in glowing green code. And it's not a monster hiding in the basement of the internet, waiting for innocent users to stumble in. The reality is far more complex, far more human, and in many ways, far more interesting than anything movies have ever shown you. In this video,
Very
we're going to
true,
go deeper
guys.
than almost any documentary has ever gone before. We're going to explain exactly how the dark web works. Not myths, not rumors, not Hollywood cliches, but real facts, real history, and real consequences. We'll
And guys, I want to say really fast. The reason why this was created, I do believe the CIA allegedly, no, I do believe they did create this for political reasons, so that the adversaries outside of the country couldn't come in and hack their emails, their political things, like that. But you guys are gonna watch it until the end. This is gonna trip you guys out. Let's continue.
trace its origins from a classified military project to a global criminal underground. We'll explain exactly why cybersecurity experts monitor it 24 hours a day, and we'll walk you through what's actually on it, the legitimate, the terrifying, and the outright bizarre. And by the end of this journey, you'll understand the hidden internet better than 99% of people on Earth. So let's begin. Let's go back to the very beginning. Chapter 2. The Internet, You Don't Know Surface Web, Deep Web, and Dark Web, explained once and for all. Before we go anywhere near the dark web, we need to clear something up, because this is where most YouTube videos...
The deep web and dark web are two different emphases. Um, there's a surface. It's like an onion. They call it an onion layer, like when you pull back an onion. But I won't talk. Let me let you guys listen, okay?
And honestly, most adults completely get it wrong. There are 3 distinct layers to the internet.
See, guys, surface. I just said it.
Everything that follows. So let's slow it
Then
down for a
deep
moment
web and
get
then
this
dark
exactly
web.
right. Number 1, the surface web. The The surface web is the internet you use every single day. It's every website you can find.
And
through a
this is
search
the
engine.
surface is
Google,
like this
Bing,
right here, what you can
DuckDuckGo.
see.
You type in a search, you click a link, and you're on the surface web. News articles.
And guys, I want to say really quickly because I know how to build apps, okay? You see how you see the surface web? Behind this is called the query. But you have to build like from complex dark web explain layer one, the surface. Each tab behind what you see is called a query. This is how you build things like this. Let's continue.
Wikipedia, YouTube videos, online stores, social media profiles. This YouTube video right now, this is the surface web. It's indexed, it's public, it's accessible to anyone with an internet connection and a browser. Search engines have crawled it, cataloged it, and placed it on the map. The surface web contains an estimated 5 to 6 billion indexed pages. That sounds enormous, but it represents roughly 4% of total internet content. 4%. Let that sink in for a moment. Layer 2, the deep web. Now here's where most people make their first big mistake. They hear deep web and immediately think dark web, but they are not the same thing, not even close. The deep web is simply any part of the internet that is not indexed by search engines. That's it. That's the entire definition. There is nothing mysterious about it. Your Gmail inbox, that's deep web. Google cannot search your emails. They are private to you. Your Netflix account page, deep web.
Your online
banking portal,
banking,
deep web.
deep
Your
web.
company's internal database, deep web.
See how that
Hospital
works,
patient records,
guys?
deep web. Think about it like this. If someone asked what's inside your email inbox, you'd say it's none of their business. It's private, not illegal, not criminal, just not meant for
Guys,
public
please
access.
subscribe and
The deep
support
web
the
makes up approximately
channel as you come in,
96% of all
please.
internet content. It is where virtually all legitimate,
I'm trying to get to my
private, and sensitive
1,000
information lives. Government databases,
subscriber
corporate
mark.
intranets, academic archives, private cloud storage, medical records. You visit the deep web every single day, every time you log into any account anywhere. The deep web is not scary. It is simply the part of the internet you cannot see from the surface. Layer 3, the dark web. And then there's the dark web. The dark web is a small subchapter of the deep web, but it is fundamentally different in one critical way. It's not just private, it is intentionally hidden. To access the dark web, you cannot use a regular browser. You cannot Google your way into it. You need specialized software that anonymizes your connection. And the websites on the dark web use completely different addresses, ending in .onion.
Guys, I kid you not. Something must have changed because when I got in 10 years ago, I got in the way that I got in, but it wasn't like this because they used .onion. This is why I said it in the beginning because it's like peeling back. Peeling back is why they use that.
Instead of .com or
But they don't use
These
.com. They
.onion
use
sites do not
.onion
have
for
traditional
the dark
IP
web.
addresses that can be easily traced. They are designed from the ground up to hide both sides of the connection, the server hosting the site and the user visiting it. That anonymity is the dark web's defining feature. And as we will see throughout this documentary, anonymity is both its greatest strength and its greatest danger. The dark web is estimated to contain somewhere between 55,000 and 100,000 unique .onion addresses active at any given time. That is tiny compared to the billions of websites on the surface web. But what happens inside those hidden addresses? That is where the story be complicated. Chapter 3, How It All Began. From a military hub to a global underground. To understand the dark web, you have to understand why it was created.
Word documents. That's it. I format them, upload
It
them
was
to
created
Amazon,
for
and collect
security purposes
royalties
for our
every month.
military
Nope.
guys.
And the answer might surprise you. It was not invented by criminals. It was not invented by hackers. It was not invented by underground movements or conspiracy groups. It was invented by the United States military. In the mid-1990s, researchers at the United States Naval Research Laboratory faced a very specific problem. Intelligence officers needed to communicate and access information online, but they could not do it through normal internet connections. Those connections could be traced, monitored, and intercepted by foreign adversaries. They needed a way to communicate anonymously, completely, untraceably. Even if an enemy intercepted the data traveling through the network, they should not be able to determine where it came from or where it was going. The solution they developed was called onion routing. The idea was simple, but brilliant. Instead of sending data directly from point A to point B, where anyone watching the network could see the full path, onion routing sends data through multiple intermediate nodes. At each step, the data is wrapped in a new layer of encryption, like layers of an onion. Each relay in the chain can only see one step behind and one step ahead. No single point in the system ever sees the full picture. The research was developed by Paul Syverson, Michael Reed, and David Goldschlag at the Naval Research Laboratory. Their work was published in 1996 and 1998. But then came a twist they did not fully anticipate: the privacy paradox. They realized something important. This anonymous network.
Hi, guys in the chat. Hi, Brainless World. How are you? Thanks for joining. Please subscribe, and I appreciate you.
Network only works if many different types of people use it. Because if only military or intelligence
I love your name, by the way.
personnel used it, anyone analyzing traffic would immediately know. If someone is using this system, they must be a spy. So the anonymity depends on scale, on diversity, on normal users blending in. To hide one sensitive communication, you need millions of ordinary communications surrounding it. Anonymity requires a crowd. And so they made a decision that would change the internet forever. They released the technology to the public. The birth of Tor, 2002. In 2002, this technology evolved into Tor, the onion
Guys, check out why they released it to the public. Check this out.
router. It was supported in part by the United States government and later released as open source software. By 2006, the Tor project became a nonprofit organization with a clear mission: to protect privacy and defend freedom from censorship online. And in the early years, that is exactly what it was used for. Journalists in authoritarian countries used it to communicate safely. Activists used it to organize without surveillance. Whistleblowers used it to expose corruption.
Did you hear that?
Ordinary people used it simply to bypass censorship and
Whistleblowers.
access information freely. Today, the Tor network carries traffic from roughly 2 million users every day. And most of them are not criminals. Most are ordinary people who care about privacy or people living in places where online freedom is not guaranteed. But then, everything changed.
Such as Iran, because I don't think Iran, you can't have certain things and you're limited to your internet over in Iran. Let's continue.
The Silk Road changes everything. In January 2011, a website appeared on the dark web called the Silk Road. It was created by a man named Ross Ulbricht, who used the alias Dread Pirate Roberts. And it was essentially this: an Amazon marketplace for illegal drugs. The Silk Road
Oh my
used Tor for anonymity and Bitcoin for untraceable payments. Sellers listed products, buyers purchased them. Transactions were handled through escrow. There were reviews, ratings, and dispute systems. In structure, it looked like a normal e-commerce platform, but everything it sold was illegal. At its peak, the Silk Road generated over $1 billion in sales. It had thousands of sellers and hundreds of thousands of users worldwide. And it was not just a marketplace.
Wow.
It was also a philosophy. Ross Ulbricht believed he was building a free market outside government control, a digital utopia where individuals could choose without interference. He was wrong about many things, and we will come back to him later. The post-Snowden era. Then came 2013, and Edward Snowden. Snowden, a former NSA contractor, leaked thousands of classified documents that revealed the staggering...
Guys, if you don't know, the dark web consists of many rooms. You know, you have to pay to get inside of those rooms, but it's like some really cyber, you know. And again, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not showing you this or educating you on this or making this aware to you for you to go out and do it. But it could be dangerous. So no messing around. Let's continue.
staggering scale of global surveillance programs run by the United States and its allies. The NSA was collecting phone records of millions of Americans. GCHQ in the United Kingdom had tapped undersea fiber optic cables, and intelligence agencies were quietly accessing data
Check
from
that
major
out,
technology
guys.
companies. Almost overnight, the question of online privacy stopped being a niche concern for tech enthusiasts and became a global debate. After Snowden's revelations, Tor downloads surged by over 100% within weeks. Millions of ordinary people suddenly wanted to understand what anonymity actually meant. The post-Snowden internet was fundamentally changed, and the dark web, which had already been growing in both legitimate use and criminal use, became a topic of worldwide attention. The modern era, ransomware, criminal enterprises, and cyberstates. From 2014 onward, the dark web evolved at extraordinary speed. Law enforcement shut down the Silk Road in 2013, but within months, dozens of replacements appeared. Alphabet, Hansa, Dream Market, each one more advanced than the last, each one rising, expanding.
This is about the time, I said 10 years ago, so around 2013 is about the time when I first took a tour. I don't know how and why I ended up there, but I did. Let's continue.
And eventually being taken down, and then replaced again. Meanwhile, a new form of cybercrime emerged that would become one of the most profitable criminal industries in modern history: ransomware. Criminal groups, some operating like full corporate organizations with customer support, developers, and even internal structure, began targeting hospitals, businesses, government agencies, and critical infrastructure. They would encrypt entire systems and then demand cryptocurrency payments in exchange for decryption keys.
Guys, I have to tell you guys this because I just want to give you a sidebar. That happened at St. Vincent's Hospital here. They hacked the hospital twice. This was probably like 3 years back, and they demanded ransom money. But this is what they do, and it's hard to trace them, but they can be traced. It may take a little time, but let's continue.
And many of those payments were coordinated through dark web infrastructure. As artificial intelligence,
Guys, I have hair in a
cryptocurrency, and
ponytail
global
because I
connectivity
shampooed
advanced,
it.
the dark web economy evolved alongside them. Today, the dark web is not a single place. It is not one website. It is not one community. It is a constantly shifting ecosystem. Part criminal underground, part privacy refuge, and part intelligence battleground. And to understand how it works, you first have to understand the technology behind it. Chapter 4, the technology, onion routing, Tor, and the architecture of anonymity. Let's talk about how this actually works. Because once you understand the technology, everything else starts to make sense. Imagine you want to send a letter to someone. On the normal internet, it's like sending a postcard. Anyone handling it can see where it came from, where it's going, and sometimes even what it says. Now imagine you want to send that same letter completely anonymously.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate will teach you to code in R, to code in SQL, data visualization, and learning how to problem solve like an analyst would. At the end of the day, being a data analyst is about communication. It's the number one soft skill that you'll pick up. And so learning how to take the information and make it accessible to a lot of people is at the core of being a strong data analyst. Ready to get started? Enroll today.
Oh, guys, I am so sorry.
The onion analogy. You place your message inside a box. Then you place that box inside another box. Then another box on top of that. 3 layers in total, each locked separately, and each lock is held by a different person in a different place. You hand the outer box to the first messenger. They can only open the outer layer. Inside, they find instructions for where to send the next box, but nothing more. They forward it. No knowledge of the origin, no knowledge of the final destination. The second messenger does the same, 1 layer removed, still blind to the full picture. The third messenger opens the final layer and delivers the message. At no point does any single person know both the sender and the receiver. And
Did you
anyone
guys
watching
catch
the
that?
process cannot trace the full path. This is exactly how Tor works. The boxes are encryption layers, the messengers are called
Wow.
relays, and the final step is called the exit node. The 3 types of relays. When you connect to Tor, your traffic is automatically routed to
You,
3
entry
volunteer-run
mode,
servers
middle
called
relay,
relays. Each one has a
exit
different
mode.
role. Entry node, also called the guard node. This is the first stop. It sees your real IP address. It knows you are connecting, but it does not know where you are going or what you are doing. It only knows the next relay in the chain. Middle relay. This is the blind transfer point. It knows nothing about you, nothing about your destination. It only passes encrypted data forward. Exit node. This is the final step. It sees the destination website, but it has no idea.
Guys, this is some advanced innovation. This dark web, I'm telling you, see, everybody want to be smart. You're not smart if you can't navigate or understand this system right here. And again, it was created by our United States military for confidential purposes only. Let's continue.
Who originally sent the request. And to the outside website, it looks like the traffic is coming from the exit node, not the real user. No single relay ever sees the full picture. That is the power of onion routing. It breaks the chain of traceability. Hidden services and .onion addresses. Now, browsing normal websites through Tor gives you anonymity as a user. But what about websites that want to stay hidden themselves? That's where .onion hidden services come in. A .onion site does not use a normal IP address. Instead, it uses a cryptographic address, a long string of random characters generated from encryption keys. For example, Juhanermi HXL77
Look how long, guys, look how long that is. This is the IP address for the dark web.
Both the user and the
.onion.
website connect through the Tor network. The connection never leaves Tor endpoint. That means neither side can
Look,
discover
you
the real
guys.
location of the other.
Look how much.
This is fundamentally different from normal browsing. It creates a fully hidden, end-to-end, anonymous connection on both sides. And that is exactly why dark web servers are so difficult to trace or shut down. Why Tor is slow? You might be wondering, if Tor is so powerful, why doesn't everyone use it? Simple. It's slow. Your data bounces through 3 volunteer relays, sometimes across different countries, sometimes even different continents, and each step adds delay. So a simple web page that loads instantly on a normal browser might take 5 to 10 times longer on Tor. And streaming video, in most cases, almost impossible. That's the fundamental trade-off. Anonymity costs speed, and for most everyday internet users, that inconvenience is enough to keep them away. VPN versus Tor, the key difference. This is one of the most common questions. What's the difference between a VPN and Tor? A VPN, a virtual private network, hides your IP address and encrypts your traffic between you and a VPN server. But here's the key point. The VPN provider can still see everything. They know your real IP address, they know you're connected, and they can potentially see what sites you're visiting. In other words, you are trusting one company with your data. If that company is forced by law, or if it is dishonest, your privacy can be compromised. Tor works differently. No single entity has the full picture. Not the entry node, not the middle relay.
Guys, does anybody have this on their personal computer? I have this. Privacy reasons. Let's continue.
Not the exit node. Each part only sees a small fragment of the journey, never the complete path. The design assumes that any single relay could be compromised, and still, no one can fully identify you. That's the difference. VPN, one trusted company sees everything. Tor, no single point knows everything. Completely different security models. Is Tor
Very.
perfect? Limitations and attacks. Now here's what most dark web explanations don't tell you. Tor is not magic, and it is not invincible. It has real limitations and real attack methods. If an attacker, for example, a powerful government, manages to observe both the entry point and the exit point of your connection, they can attempt traffic correlation. They compare timing patterns, data flow, and packet size, and try to match the two ends of the circuit. This is extremely difficult, but not impossible under the right conditions.
Right.
There are also browser fingerprinting.
Lots of
attacks,
time and
malware that
patience.
bypasses Tor entirely. And one of the most common failures, human mistakes. For example, logging into a personal account while using Tor.
I am so glad he said that. A lot of these things are human mistakes when things happen. So you just have to pay attention and make sure that you keep updated on your any device, your laptop, desktop, whatever you have, iPad. You have to be aware and keep and just know what to allow to share and what not. But it's always in the fine writing, guys, at the bottom of the page, and you have to click the box whenever you're setting up an account. Don't skip over that. That's very important. Let's continue.
That alone can destroy anonymity instantly. The technology is strong, very strong, but the weak point is almost never the system, it is the user. And as we move forward into real case studies, you'll see a pattern. Rarely the technology that fails, it's almost always human error. Now that you understand how
Guys,
the
please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.
dark web works technically, structurally, and mechanically, the real question becomes, what is actually on it? Chapter 5, Inside the Hidden Internet. The full spectrum, from legitimate to lethal. When most people imagine the dark web, they imagine pure darkness, pure danger, a place where every click leads to something illegal and every corner hides a threat. But that picture is not accurate, not even close. The dark web is not one thing. It is many things at once, and to understand it properly, we need to
Right.
explore what actually exists there, across the full spectrum, from the completely legitimate to the genuinely dangerous. The legitimate side, what most people never hear about. Let's start where most explanations end, the legitimate use cases. SecureDrop is one of the most important tools in modern journalism. It is an open source system built on Tor, used by major news organizations around the world, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Guardian, and many others. It allows whistleblowers to send documents and communicate with journalists completely anonymously, without fear of surveillance or retaliation. Think about what that means. Some of the biggest
Yeah, think
investigative
about
stories in
that.
modern history, exposing corruption, abuse of power, and corporate misconduct, may have started through systems like this. There is also a Tor version of Facebook. Yes, Facebook runs an official .onion site. It was created for users in countries where the platform is censored or where accessing it could
Wow,
put someone
BBC
at risk.
News,
Places like China, Iran, and Russia.
CIA,
There are
New
also
York.
forums dedicated to cybersecurity research, privacy advocacy, and free speech communities in restrictive environments. Even digital libraries exist, offering access to books that are censored or unavailable in certain regions. The CIA maintains an official .onion site for receiving anonymous tips. The BBC has a Tor version of its news platform, and even the United Nations has experimented with secure communication through Tor. The legitimate dark web is real, active, and in many cases, essential. It is not.
Okay, guys, let me read this off to you. It says even governments and media giants run .onion versions. Okay, let's start with Facebook. It says for users in censored countries like China, Iran, and Russia. I told you guys I knew Iran because I remember that on an episode they had on Locked Up Abroad. Okay, this is for BBC News. Uncensored news in response regiments worldwide. So that's what that's for. Now, CIA receives anonymous tips from anyone on Earth. And this is true. Anybody can call in and whatever, whatever. And then it says the New York Times. This is how major newspapers get their anonymous sources, guys. So that's what it means when it says even governments and media giant run .onion versions for security reasons and confidentiality. Let's continue.
Not accurate to call it purely criminal. The gray zone, privacy, crypto, and anonymous communities. Below the clearly legitimate layer, there
That
is a
gray
broader
zone is
gray zone.
always
Cryptocurrency
that
exchanges
challenging zone,
outside
guys. The
traditional
gray
financial
zone.
systems. Anonymous forums discussing legal but sensitive topics, including drug harm reduction, political dissent, and privacy advocacy. Discussion boards that would be considered too controversial for mainstream platforms. Anonymous mental health communities. Privacy-focused email services and tools built specifically for anonymity. Much of this exists because mainstream platforms are heavily monitored, restricted, or censored. For many users, the dark web becomes a refuge, a place where speech and identity are less controlled. Is everything in this gray zone good? No. No. Is everything illegal? Also
No.
no. It is complicated, and the internet, as
Very
always, does not
complicated.
deal well with complicated things. The criminal underground. And now we get to the part you came here for. The criminal dark web is real, active, sophisticated, and genuinely dangerous. Not to random browsers, but to businesses, governments, and individuals whose data has already been
Dangerous,
compromised.
guys.
Understanding it is essential for anyone who cares about cybersecurity. dark web marketplaces.
On a serious note, it's
The most
very
famous
serious.
element of the criminal dark web is the marketplace, modeled ironically on legitimate e-commerce. Dark
Let's
web marketplaces
scroll.
operate like Amazon.
Shopping
There is a front
cart.
page. Categories, individual seller listings, shopping
Dispute
carts,
resolution.
ratings and reviews, dispute resolution systems, customer support, even seasonal discounts. What they sell varies widely. Illegal drugs remain the dominant category, but these markets also trade. Stolen credit card information, login credentials for streaming services, bank account access, corporate VPN credentials, fraudulent documents like passports, driver's licenses, social security numbers, fake invoices, counterfeit currency, hacking tools, exploit kits, software
The credit cards, social security numbers, money laundering. Those are the really. There's all of them are big if it's criminal, but those are the biggest, highest ones, guys, on the list. Let's continue.
packages designed to attack known vulnerabilities in systems, and malware kits ready for deployment. The prices might surprise you. A stolen credit card with PIN can sell for as little as $10. A full identity package, name, address, social security number, and security answers can range from $30 to $150 depending on credit strength. Access to a compromised corporate network can range from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars.
Did you guys hear that? Did you see this? Stolen credit card. The prices might surprise you. Stolen credit cards plus a PIN. You can purchase it for $10. Disclaimer, not telling you to do it, but this is how and why it's imperative for you to keep up with your credentials and your everything, because if it gets in the dark web, this is what happens. And they will sell you a stolen credit card and PIN number for $10, streaming service logins $5, complete identity package $30 to $150, bank account credentials $100 to $500. Are you serious, guys? What is this world coming to? Oh my goodness, let's continue.
Depending on the size and industry of the target.
High-tech innovation.
Ransomware infrastructure, but individual stolen data is almost small scale compared to what ransomware groups operate. Ransomware gangs use the dark web as their operational backbone. They communicate there. They publish stolen data there. They negotiate with victims there, and increasingly they operate what is known as ransomware as a service.
Yeah, guys, I knew about this years ago about the kidnapping and the ransom, and this is how they were doing it in the dark web. That's one thing at the top of my head I do remember.
Essentially a franchise model. A core group develops the malware and infrastructure. Then they recruit affiliates.
And guys, a lot of this disclaimer are abroad. It's not within our United States, even though I'm sure, but a lot of this comes from abroad. Let's continue.
Attackers who deploy the ransomware in exchange for a share of the profits. The affiliate breaks into networks. The core group handles encryption systems, payment processing, and decryption keys. Modern ransomware is not a lone hacker in a hoodie. It is organized crime operating with the structure and efficiency of a technology startup, data breach markets, and Stealer logs. Every time you hear about a major data breach,
Guys, leave it in the comment what you think about this thus far.
a company hacked, millions of passwords exposed, that data almost
Strictly educational purposes only.
always ends
Critical
up on the dark web
thinking.
within days. Specialized forums and marketplaces
Safety,
exist purely for
security.
trading stolen data. Hundreds of millions of records at a time, including names, emails, passwords, dates of birth, addresses, and phone numbers. Cybercriminals buy this data in bulk to perform credential stuffing attacks, automatically testing leaked login combinations across hundreds of services until something works. They are not guessing passwords. They are using real data that was already stolen from real systems. Hacking communities and forums. Below the marketplaces are the forums. This is where knowledge is shared, exploits are traded, and new attackers learn how the ecosystem works. Some forums are highly technical, almost like underground research communities, where zero-day vulnerabilities, enterprise exploits, and advanced attack methods are discussed. Others are much lower level, entry points for beginners who lack technical skills but want ready-made tools that automate attacks. The result is simple but dangerous. The dark web has lowered the barrier to entry for cybercrime. You no longer need to be an expert programmer to launch an attack. You need cryptocurrency, access to the right forum, and a supplier. And that shift changed everything.
I don't know if you guys know this or not about the cryptocurrency. This is when it all started with this dark web because you have to use your bitcoins to get into the room. Disclaimer, not telling anyone to go out and do these things. How many of you guys knew that? Leave it in the comment. Let's continue.
Chapter 6, Hollywood versus Real Life.
You may be researching how to hire internationally.
Sorry, guys.
So, what is an employer of record?
Separating dangerous myths from what's actually true. Okay, let's take a breath because before we go any further, we need to deal with something important. The myths, the fiction, the completely false ideas people still believe about the dark web. This matters because misinformation doesn't just create fear, it also hides the real threats that actually exist. Myth 1, red rooms.
I'm glad he's going over the rooms because I wasn't gonna put it out there. I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible because, as I said, this is not for you to go messing around over there. But there are different, like Hassan Campbell says, there's a door. You could either go to the left, you could either go to the right, or you can go straight. But there's a lot of rooms, guys, connected to the dark web. Let's continue.
Myth. Live stream torture or murder broadcasts on the dark web that viewers pay to watch. This is the most persistent dark web myth in existence, and it is completely false. There's never been a single verified case of a real red room. Not one. Law enforcement agencies, cybersecurity researchers, intelligence organizations, none of them have ever confirmed its existence. The idea comes from internet horror stories, fiction, and urban legends. And technically speaking, it also doesn't make sense. Real-time streaming over Tor would be extremely unstable due to latency, and broadcasting violent crime publicly in real time would be one of the fastest ways to get caught. Red Room.
Okay, when I just said rooms, and I'm correct on what I said. He said red rooms. It doesn't matter if it's not a red room. They have different rooms, as I just said, and this is factual. But when I went on it many years ago, there was a red room on the one that I saw a red room. Let's continue.
Rooms are not real. They never were, and most videos claiming otherwise are either fiction or scams.
They may have only been
attention.
a few of the red rooms, or however, maybe just that one I happened to see. But maybe they got rid of it. I don't know. But let's continue.
Myth 2. Hiring a hitman on the dark web. Myth. You pay cryptocurrency and
It's
hire a
not
professional
funny, guys.
assassin
I just
online
wasn't.
through the
I
dark
wasn't
web.
expecting it.
This is also false. There are many so-called hitman services on the dark web, but every single one of them is a scam. They take payment and disappear.
I was gonna say that because that does happen, guys. See, this is the trickery of it all. It's not that it's not a part of it, but people will go onto these things and make the most diabolical transactions requests in exchange for money. It's just like scamming. That's all it is. But let's continue.
Some even escalate into extortion, threatening to report the buyer unless more money is sent.
Oh my
In
goodness.
several real cases, individuals
I'm
who tried
sorry,
to
guys.
engage in
It's
such
not
services
funny.
were later identified and arrested. Because real-world violent crime does not operate like an online
Extortion. Oh
marketplace.
my
There are no
God.
ratings, no customer support, no verified listings. Think about it for a
Oh,
moment,
this is
and the illusion
crazy.
falls apart immediately. Myth 3. You'll get hacked instantly just by visiting Myth. Simply
No,
load
that's
the
a
.onion
fact. No,
website
you
and
won't.
immediately
You will
hack your
not.
computer. No, visiting a
I don't know how it
website,
is in
even on the
one
dark
moment,
web,
guys. I don't know how it is now in 2026, but back in 2013, but just don't. The thing of it is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't go over again and get in on these apps and sites and everything. You guys better be very careful. There is too much going on to be as active and activated on these social apps, it's not a game. And you got to know this. Just consider this dark web a physical thing and not a computer thing because it happens in the same manner and format, guys. Let's continue.
Does not automatically compromise your device. You cannot get malware simply by browsing any more than you can on the regular internet. The real risks come from downloading files, executing unknown software, clicking malicious links, entering personal credentials into fake forms, or using outdated and vulnerable systems. Passive browsing, while not recommended, is not an instant security failure. That said, casual exploration of the dark web is still a bad idea, not because you'll be instantly hacked, but because the content itself can be disturbing and in some cases legally risky just to view.
Right.
4. Tor is illegal. Myth: using Tor or accessing the dark web is illegal. In the vast majority of countries, this is completely false. Using Tor is legal.
It's legal.
Browsing the dark web is legal. The technology itself is neutral. The Tor browser can be downloaded directly from the official Tor project website. What matters is what you do with it.
What makes it illegal is criminal activity.
Illegal activity is illegal. Tool. Accessing illegal marketplaces, buying or selling illegal goods, downloading illegal content, or participating in cybercrime, all illegal.
Right.
But using Tor for privacy, accessing .onion versions of legitimate websites, reading censored news, or communicating anonymously, all legal in most countries. There are exceptions. Some authoritarian regimes, including in countries like Russia, China, and Belarus, have taken steps to restrict or block Tor access. But in most democratic countries, the use of the technology itself is not a crime. Myth 5.
Right,
The dark
because I
web
have
is
it.
enormous. Myth: the dark web is a massive, sprawling digital universe larger than the regular internet. This is also incorrect. The dark web is actually small.
Very
Estimates suggest
small.
around 55,000 to 100,000 active .onion sites at any given time. Now compare that to over 1.7 billion websites on the regular internet.
Wow. See the
enormous.
difference, guys?
The dark web's influence is not based on size, but on impact. What makes it significant is what happens inside it, not how big it is. And here's the
Right.
important thing about myths: they are not harmless. When people believe red rooms are real, they ignore the real threats. When people think Tor is illegal, they avoid tools that could actually protect their privacy. And when people assume they will be instantly hacked, they never learn how real cyber attacks actually work.
Okay, guys, because I just wanted to give you guys, we've been in for 40 minutes now, and I just wanted to give you guys an insight to this, to awaken you to these things so that you can think appropriately, you can move appropriately, your emotions will be in the right places, like your movement, okay? It's very strategic, but you have to strategize, and this is a good way of bringing you critical thinking, showing of you all this. That was a lot of information I just gave you guys, and I still have probably like maybe 40 more minutes that I can give you guys. But if you'd like to go and take a look at it, just research it out. Complete Dark Dark Web Explained, crime, cybersecurity, etc. But again, it says it's actually tiny. It really is. See this red box? That's the deep web. And the green is the regular internet, like what we're on now. So, but okay, guys. I love learning, and I love reawakening myself to things that I already have been exposed to or aware of or taught. So I'm just sharing and giving back. But at any rate, thank you guys for joining me back for another episode. Thanks, guys. Have a nice night.